Okay, so this layout update is going to be a little all over the place, and we'll be back in here to talk. So let's go to there. Alright, here's the start of the February layout update. We're going with JMRI here, and the layout needed a little changes to how it's run, because what it was doing was we just had some spurs that were off layout that cars would be taken up to Brooks Avenue Yard, put there, and then a restager would take them to spurs that were basically in Rochester, or pretty close to it. There was no real travel for the train other than going up to Rochester, and then they would go on the restager and go back to the yard and then wait for their turn to go back down to Warsaw. So it resulted in a lot of cars looping, and a lot of cars that were in Warsaw not being pulled. And in fact, I think every single switch list that I have up there involves cars being pulled the day after they're spotted. And I don't want that. I want it to make more sense. So, needed to increase the system, the virtual system, to send cars farther away. So the solution to that is add a bunch of different locations. So we're now at 32 locations. We have Albany, Arcade, Boston, Bradford, Brooks Avenue Yard, Buffalo, Butler, Chatham, Chicago, Cincinnati, Columbus, Connellsville, Hagerstown, Kane, Nansen, Newark, Oneida, Palmer, Pittsburgh, Portland, Salamanca, Schenectady, St. Louis, Syracuse, Union City, Utica, Warsaw, Washington Courthouse, Washington, D.C., and Wheeling. We have our routes of Albany to Boston, Albany to Union City, Boston to Portland, Buffalo to Salamanca, Columbus to Cincinnati, Pittsburgh to Washington, Pittsburgh to Wheeling, Rochester to Albany, Rochester to Salamanca, Salamanca to Pittsburgh, Wheeling to Chicago, Wheeling to Columbus to Switcher, and Cincinnati to St. Louis. The Switcher and the staging locations and routes will not be used anymore after they get the cars out of the spurs that were reloading them. For trains, we have the ALBO and BOAL, which is the Boston Manifest, runs between Albany and Boston. The train between Albany and Union City, train between Boston and Portland. Boston and Portland train purely takes Maine Central and Bangor and Aroostook cars up to Portland, Maine, where they are reloaded. Maine Central with paper, and Bangor and Aroostook with whatever. Union City, that takes cars, which we can see here in a quick glance what Union City does. And Union City is solely an interchange where cars for the CNJ, New York, the Central New Jersey, Susquehanna, Erie, Pennsylvania, PRR, Lehigh Valley, DLNW, LNE, Reading, Long Island, as well as the KSMX and DPCX cement hoppers are taken. Portland, Maine, we give interchange with Maine Central, Grand Trunk, and Bangor and Aroostook. Boston has a yard because it receives the ALBO and then puts out the BOAL between it and Albany, and it also has to handle the train to Portland, so it needs a yard track for that. And there's an interchange with Boston and Maine and New Haven. In Palmer, Massachusetts, there's an interchange with the Central Vermont. In Chatham, New York, the interchange with the Rutland. In Albany, a yard, as well as an interchange with the D&H. In Schenectady is interchange with the D&H and B&M. Utica is interchange with the New York, Ontario and Western, and the Delaware, Lackawanna and Western. And Oneida is another NYOW interchange. Syracuse interchange with the DLW, and that's where DMM cars go, and those also should be where Bath and Hammondsport cars should go. Newark, New York is where they interchange the Pennsylvania Railroad, and that's where the GNWR cars also go, because that's the line down that would go to Watkins Glen. The most logical route for them to take, at least. Then we have Rochester, New York, which I actually don't have this interchange put there because I want cars to go farther. But that's the yard for going to Salamanca and to Albany. It also goes down to Warsaw. Buffalo is where they interchange the Nickel Plate, Erie, Canadian Pacific, TH&B, CN, and BCK. And they have a steel mill there that handles coke, steel, and scrap. Salamanca interchange to the Erie, as well as the hub for routes to Buffalo, Rochester, and Pittsburgh. Bradford is where the oil cars are reloaded, and it has a coal mine for the Erie there. Kane, Pennsylvania, we have a Pennsylvania Railroad interchange. In Nansen, that is where the sawmill is, which all the lumber comes from. Butler is interchange to the Bessemer Lake Erie, which we have one BNLE boxcar. Pittsburgh is the yard. There's also the freight depot that deals in all the Baltimore, Ohio boxcars, and interchange the PRR, PLE, and there's also a steel mill down there as well. Connellsville, Pennsylvania, we interchange the PRR, New York Central, Pittsburgh and West Virginia, and Western Maryland. Hagerstown, Maryland, we interchange with the Western Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Norfolk and Western, Washington, D.C. Southern, Atlantic Coastline, Seaboard Airline, Virginian, Norfolk Southern, Central Georgia, FEC, and Atlantic and Danville. Now, the Central Georgia, Seaboard Airline, and Atlantic Coastline cars, those get loaded with cotton. Wheeling, West Virginia, has a yard, and also interchange to the Wheeling, Lake Erie, and Pennsylvania Railroad. Columbus, Ohio is the interchange with Chesapeake and Ohio, and the route splits, one going, no, it doesn't split. It goes to Cincinnati. It should also, Wheeling is where it goes to Chicago. And Chicago, from Columbus to Cincinnati, they go through Washington Courthouse, which is the DT&I interchange, which Ann Arbor cars go there. Cincinnati, Ohio, interchange to the Norfolk and Western and Southern, Chesapeake, Ohio, and Pennsylvania Railroad. And then in St. Louis, interchange with the Illinois Central, New York Central, Pennsylvania, Gulf Mobile, Ohio, Missouri Pacific, Southern, L&N, Nickel Plate, Wabash, Illinois Terminal, St. Louis, San Francisco, or Illinois Terminal, whichever it is, Rock Island, the Katy, CB&Q, Cotton Belt, and Southern Pacific. And Chicago interchange with the Indiana Harbor Belt, New York Central, Grand Trunk Western, Chesapeake and Ohio, Nickel Plate, PRR, EJ&E, CNWI, CNNW, MLW, MILW, CGW, SU, GMNO, CIW, IC, CB&Q, BRC, ATSF, the BOCT, CEI, UP, GN, and NP. And actually, for Chicago, what we have there is, where is it? First, two. We have interchange, and then we have textiles. And the textiles only accepts Burlington Northern, Great Northern, and Northern Pacific. And it loads those cars with wool. And there's a similar track at another location that loads St. Louis Southwestern and other cars with cotton to send back to Silver Spring, to Warsaw. So that is the new operating for the layout, with all these trains to move cars, to make it be longer before they come back to the layout, and so that they get loaded with the proper stuff. Like Missouri Pacific, the Missouri Pacific boxcars actually bring in lead to Marine-Colton, Oregon. That's specifically for the Missouri Pacific boxcars, because I looked up and they did, and Missouri Pacific would have been one of the railroads to haul lead. So we'll do some more updates in a bit, but that's it for the operations update. Okay, now the mail call portion of the video is, I got this map. This is for a future video that might come out before this one. It might come out, it probably will come out afterwards because, yeah. But we have this, which is for this video. It's not anything to do with railroads or anything like that, although I'll probably mention, there'll be a little bit mention of railroads in the video, but it's for something else. It's for someone else. So we have, besides that, we have the eye crimp. So we have a wire crimpers. We have these, which these are the waterproof covers for electrical plugs, which I got them just to make the plugs neater. And then we have Anderson power pole connectors. And now I will be going upstairs and installing these, and we'll see after they're installed. Okay, one is in place. One pair is in place. And we're down one connection. Look at that. I crimped that on the black wire, and it slit in the black as I'm trying to wrestle the dang thing into that. It clicks in place, and the black wire falls out of the crimp. Oh, I was mad. I had to use a screwdriver. To use my screwdriver with a small flathead tip and dig that connector out of there. Luckily, there's just enough space in front of it, so if you have it come apart, you can get in there with a small flathead screwdriver and pry that up and push it back. And I was able to get this out of there. Otherwise, I would have been down a plastic shroud. Hopefully there's more. Hopefully I have enough that that's not going to make me have to get another package just to replace that. You can tell from the tone of my voice, I am not happy. I do not like Anderson power pole connectors. They are a pain because they're a pain to snap these things into there. Ugh. Never doing modular after this. Now it's daylight, it's raining, and we're going to assess the damage here. And there's the things I did to put the tarps on. Got one tarp here. That's the front that was up there. That's the other side of the roof. That's what caused it to collapse. Here's all the boards from the side. They are all pretty much all in good condition. I can walk on them; they're not breaking, so they're in good condition. Got some bad wood there. That's mostly from the roof. But there's some broken floor joists. There's one right there. It's broken. There's the floor. The floor did not collapse. Now, let's see if we can get over to here. I'm trying to see if I can see my saw. Let's see, that's still sturdy right there. That's still intact. Not damaged. I don't know if I can walk on this roof or not. It feels sturdy. Oh. floor collapsed onto that. Where's the floor? Yeah, the second floor completely collapsed. I don't see. There's the sawhorses. There's the wagon. My generator. Generator's safe. Saw. It looks like it's good. It's right in there. You can see the toolbox there. The saw's right to the right. It looks like it's not... The stand is not damaged. It looks like it landed, the floor landed on it. But it didn't. But it didn't damage it. Let's see if I can get in the other way. See if I can climb over here. See if I can climb over here and get in here. There, one tarp ripped to shreds. Here's the top of that beam that broke. We'll be back. Okay, this is probably going to freak people out, but I'm inside the barn. There is, you see there, that is still good. There's the beam that broke, and that beam now, with this collapse, you can now take that beam out and replace it completely. Now, I'm going to go under the collapsed floor. People might object to this, but oh well. The saw survived. The saw survived. It did. There's the generator there. Generator's good. And you can see there, one of the floor joists landed on the guide for the saw, but the saw blade's on the other side of it, and that looks perfect. It looks fine. I can't see much under there, but it looks good. That's probably partially what saved it. There's the hide-a-bed there. So, yeah. And this floor joist looks like it probably can be salvaged. So can this one. A few of these pieces of wood can be salvaged. I'm going to be getting to work separating out the good and the bad wood. There's a ring that probably was for hooking horses too. Yeah, so I'm going to be getting to work very soon, getting debris out of here. 9 a.m. is when the village office opens, so there's beams there. I have enough pictures and videos inside the barn. I can tell exactly how it was built. So we're gonna be restoring this barn. I've already explored GoFundMe. Once I know enough how much money it is, I'm gonna start it. You can donate to it or not. For if people did. Now, there were people that wanted to donate to something like that commented on videos before, but I was reluctant to do it. I just wanted them to buy merch, and that'll help fund it. But if people want to actually donate, I'll do the GoFundMe. Okay, I climbed up to the second floor, and this is what it looks like up here. There's the roof right there. Now, see, supports, that one just slipped off. It wasn't secured onto there, so it just slipped off. That pulled right out of the I had only had that in one screw. I thought I had put 3 screws into there, but only one went through. That one broke the 2x6. That 2x6 was cracked, but it broke it. Yeah, that snapped and that came down. But it's probably going to be, I think it's going to be easier to repair it with it like this. I really think so, because I can take off the roof. And then I can rebuild from the bottom up. Well, this 2x6 snapped too. The one that I put some extra things on that rolled over and snapped, splintered. That'll have to be replaced. Go here. Here's the roof. It came apart. See, the roof is, the rafters are still in good condition. These rafters, well, that one snapped, but most of these rafters are still in good condition, so we can rebuild. We can rebuild. And all I need is the funds, and until you can help. Once I get an estimate, I've already contacted the Amish. There's a Amish barn repair pros that they put you in touch with the contractors for your area. So at least I think that's the right way to go about it. I don't like that. I'm gonna get out of here because that just cracked. So yeah. There's the second floor. Those rafters, those 4 joists, most of them can be reused. Probably some of the flooring can be reused. Most, if not all of it. So, yeah, I'm gonna rebuild. I'm gonna rebuild. I hope the project. I welcome it. Now, I wish we had gotten the barn roof fixed years ago, but Mom insisted we didn't have enough money. I wasn't in charge of the finances then. I could do nothing about it. I wasn't in charge of the finances. I couldn't put the money towards it. I didn't know we had the money back then. But now's recovery. And fundraising, I would say probably $20,000. $20,000, $30,000 maybe. Could be more. Heck, it could be $250,000, I don't know. But I'm not giving up. Okay, now that you've seen all that stuff, for things to talk about, I'm in a hurry, so first of all, here's the Embury lantern. That's what it looked like. It's a rust on one side. Is that the side that's rusty? No, that's the side that's polished. That's how rusty it was. You can see the rust on that. Now, that's with polishing. See the rust there? And polished on this side. Those white marks are from the cotton thing. Top was all rusty. See that that's starting to shine. Embury Lantern, Embury Manufacturing Company, Warsaw, New York. And it is a Number 62, Supreme. So, now for the barn. Now, some people say that one rude comment from one person saying that it's time to stop wasting money. It would cost more to tear that down and rebuild it and build something else there. It would literally cost more. I can tell you that right now. Building something smaller is not possible. It's a 40 by 25 foot basement underneath there. That's 6 feet deep. That's 7 or 8 feet deep at the deepest point. You tear it down, you take the floor off, and then you fill that. You're going to have to wait 10, 20 years for it to be settled enough that you can put something on it. When you fill in an area, you have to wait years and years for it to be stable enough to handle a building being put on top of it, no matter what the size of the building is. So therefore, building something smaller isn't going to work. Also, with the structure, 3/4 of the floor, the second floor is still intact. The horizontal beam that broke, you saw in the video, that can now be pulled out and replaced. The vertical beam that was broken off at the top, that can be pulled out and replaced because there's now nothing on this side of it to replace. The front to take out. The front wall is mostly intact. There might be a beam or two that has to be replaced, but it can be mostly just lifted back into position. I do not know yet what the cost of that will be. The Amish, Woodford Barn Repairers, they are coming at 2:30 p.m. on March 19th to look it over. I do not know what it's going to cost. I don't know how long it'll be before they can get working on it. But I do know that tearing it down and building new is not the most cost-effective measure. It's not at all, and it never would be. Unless it had completely, every single thing had fallen into the basement, then yeah, building new would make more sense. But it's attached to the house, and it's mostly still there. Other than the roof, most of the main structure is still intact, and a lot of the roof pieces can be reused. So it will be rebuilt once I know how much it will take. Then I'll start the GoFundMe, and I'll be donating to that as well as I can. Of course, I got some car repairs right now. My rear driver's side caliper is hanging up, and that's going through brake pads, and I have to replace the support for my radiator because that's all broken. Yeah, that's this month, and then brake caliper next month, yeah, I don't know, and it'll be faster to have the barn repaired because the Amish can rebuild that in 2 to 4 weeks, while it would take, as I said, 10, 20 years for the land to even be ready if you filled in the basement. And that would be a cost we could sell the wood, but that would not cover the cost of fill. That would maybe cover the cost of fill, but it wouldn't then, yeah. It's not feasible to replace it. It's feasible to repair it. And it doesn't matter what your opinion on it is. That's the facts. It's not cost effective or time effective to tear it down and replace it. It's just, yeah, that would be a waste of money. And if you think rebuilding is a waste of money, then you can get off my channel. And block me because I don't want to see you if you're gonna be nasty about it. So that's what's going on with the barn. From CP Silver Springs, Milepost 368, the Norfolk Southern Tier Line. Keep on loving trains. Tim out.